Coach, good to talk to you.
Yeah.
Good to talk to you. Settling in now at Tyler High. What did you learn being down here in Texas?
Well, there's some really, really good football being played in Texas. Obviously, I think most people already know that and understand that. And I do that as well. But it's definitely a lot of really good players, really good coaches in the state. And they are very serious about their football.
And Coach, you come from Oklahoma, if that's correct. What's the difference between maybe that you've seen just from one state down, just how they treat football in general?
Yeah, and football is pretty important in Oklahoma, but Texas is probably one of the tops in the country, right? There's programs in Oklahoma that are very, very good. The fan base and support is very good. There's a whole lot more places, a whole lot more kids in the state of Texas. And the facilities are as good as a lot of the colleges. And so it's just football on steroids, really. But Oklahoma still has a lot of good coaches, so it's a good organization for the most part. And you can find a lot of good football between the two states.
Coach, you had such a good career up in Oklahoma, playing-wise, you go on Oklahoma State and all that. What made you want to get into the coaching side of things?
During the time, it was time for my playing days, it was time to kind of look for a job. I had an opportunity to coach a couple different sports. I coached basketball, I coached middle school football, and during that time, I just really fell in love with the profession. There was a lot that I learned, there was a lot that I could give to young men, and I found my passion coaching the younger groups, and it led to me getting into high school coaching.
And you had some success up in Oklahoma. Tell me about this Tyler job. This is one of the premier programs in the state of Texas. It's had its down years, but when you think about tradition, pride especially, why did Tyler stand out for you on that job search?
Yeah, so Tyler, like you said all the right things. They've got a lot of good players. There are a lot of really good coaches that have came through here. But the program at its current state was definitely in a rebuilding situation. I just was looking for an opportunity. However that opportunity came, I was ready to tackle it and do the very best that I can for the program and for the kids that are in that program. And I was blessed with the opportunity to coach at Tyler. And I'm just trying to make sure that I do the very best I can and do right by everybody involved. And I'm on year number 3.
Yes, sir. Now, how was it understanding, the traditions and stuff like that? You got Kujo on your chest right there. How was it kind of coming to understand what that all means? Yeah,
so Kujo and Tyler, what I've learned that it means is, or if there's any one meaning, but the level of football that they played over the years, the former players, the former, people that were involved, understand that, hey, there's been a lot of winning around here. But Kujo, for me, really stands out in that a lot of the kids that I'm coaching, their dads played, or their moms played, or their moms went to school here. And so it is a family thing. It is a family here. And so whether or not they like each other or everybody gets along every day, everybody knows everybody. Every young man, or most of the young men here, have had a relative that has played at Tyler. And there's a certain level of pride that goes along with that. And so being a part of this and not being from here, it's been something that's refreshing to see. There's an ownership level that goes into going to Tyler High, and I can see that every day in the young men that I'm coaching. A lot of those guys and their parents have been involved in athletics in some way, form, or fashion. And for that's really what Kujo really means to me.
Do you feel like you've kind of fully ingrained yourself now into that? Like, I am a member of Kujo. I'm a part of Tyler High. You don't feel new anymore. Do you feel?
Yeah, I'm not new, and really I have a responsibility to everybody that's a part of Kujo, right? I'm a coach that's coming in and just want to try to do right by what that means and right by the organization and team. And so whether or not I feel at home or not, this is my home now, and I want to do the very best. That pride in Tyler continues through the next generations, right? And so I enjoy being here. My family enjoys it, and I take very seriously restoring the roar, so to speak.
Coach, one of the first things that I came here last year, for the job, the first thing I did was come to a football game. It was Tyler Legacy versus Tyler High. And it was a great game last year.
Yeah.
Coach, have you ever seen a rivalry like that where it's just packed out for a high school stadium?
It's definitely packed. The stadium is beautiful. Both teams take it very seriously. I've been a part of some really good rivalries in my day, and it is very, indeed, a good one. And so I'm excited to be a part of it every year. It is so intense, and there's so much anxiety that kind of goes along with that. But to be able to say I've been a part of a great rivalry yet again, it's a good feeling.
What makes that rivalry? I mean, I know you guys are in the same town, but what's the difference between you two? Tyler Legacy, you're a bigger school, I guess, on paper, but for a long time these two have been around in the same time. What makes this rivalry special?
Well, the kids have played each other since Pop Warner. The Little Lions, the Cowboys, the Birds, they've all played the Raiders. They've all played each other for the entirety of their football career. And so when they have an opportunity to play on the biggest stage against each other, it's the last time that they're pretty much guaranteed they're going to get to play each other. And it's very, very serious. So many people in those stands have played each other before. It brings back those memories. It brings back those relationships. A lot of people come back, and it's really for them a reunion on both sides because they know each other. They've grown up with each other. And that weekend, the tailgating, the everything that goes along with the game, the excitement, it's an opportunity for fans and players alike to really reconnect with each other and compete in a positive environment.
Coach, I was wondering this, when you're speaking to it earlier about how generational this team is. Your parents play here and stuff plays here. I mean, as a coach, you're a person too. Did that make you a little nervous? Just like, oh man, this is really big. This is a generational team that I'm taking on you, not just,
Well, I think there's always a certain amount of nervousness, on a normal basis. I was nervous about the job. I want to do the very best that I can, and so there's some anxiety that goes along with that. There's a duty and responsibility to make sure these guys are prepared, and I think about that every day. But was definitely excited at the same time to take on the challenge. I was thankful to have the opportunity to possibly do that, and now that I'm here, I'm making the most of it. There's not a day that goes by that I don't do the very best that I can for the program, for the coaches, and for this organization.
Coach, these teams have taken some steps forward since you've been here. You got some top-end talent on this team. What's it going to take for you guys to take that next step and really get those guys going to put some more wins on that board? I mean, it's not like you guys are playing a tough schedule either, especially early on there.
Yeah, so our schedule is definitely extremely difficult, and we got some really good players. Just with any game, you can have all the things that you think you need, but you got to execute. There has to be a commitment in the weight room that we have, and we've got to just play at a high level each and every night. And I thought that we've, the last 2 years, win or loss, we've really played hard and did some good things. We can be better execution-wise, and that's something that we work on. We're so close to breaking through and being competitive and making the playoffs. And I know just being competitive is not enough, but you're right there. I think this is the year that we do enough to put ourselves in a position to not only make the playoffs, but make a run at this thing.
Do enough. What does that look like for you? When you say this is the year for it, what's that next step going to look like?
You don't know that. You don't know. You do everything that you can, right? And then you assess what you did, and if you don't win, then well, there's got to be something more that we need to do. It's not a situation. There's never a say, hey, if we do this, we're guaranteed this. That's not how this works. You do everything that you possibly can, or at least I do as a coach, and prepare them the very best that I can. And then after that week or that season, you reassess where you are, and then you figure out how to take it to another level. And that's really what I try to do as a coach and just as a man in general.
Coach, you going into the season, sometimes there's excitement, sometimes there's like, all right, well, let's see how this goes. Where are you on that? Because we're just about a month away. How are you feeling about this team going into this year?
I know I've used the word anxious, and I'll use it again. As it gets closer, I'm just more and more locked in. Every single day, more and more thinking about the future, where we need to be, assessing where we are, and just constantly reassessing, making sure, wondering if I'm doing enough, doing the very best that I can, and just constantly thinking about it, right? Because And I don't know. I think I've been like that for a while now. Just because the season's coming around, it just, it's a unique feeling. It's a great feeling to have. But I've got to say, since the beginning of spring, even probably before that, the preparation for me, the thinking about when August comes around has been there. It hadn't changed for me a whole lot. I'm just so excited and anxious at the same time to get going.
When you look at some of the top end talent here, when you want to talk to them, coach them up, is it easier to, knowing that you've been there, knowing that you've been that guy, going on playing at the next level and things like that? Is it easier to connect with a player like that on that end and build that relationship?
It does carry some weight when you've played at a high level and you've been drafted. That things matter to kids. Now the other thing is, it's been a long time since I've played, right? And so there has to be some trust built up and relationships that you have to build. And I've had fortunate enough in 3 years. A lot of my guys have been with me for that long, and we're all pretty comfortable with each other. They understand the standard that I require of them, and it's easier for them to accept that now, as opposed to that first year. Guys don't know me, they don't trust me. They know that I played, but that doesn't really carry a whole lot of weight when you're dealing with kids that necessarily didn't see you play. And so now, though, the guys know me. We're excited to be a part of the program. I'm excited. They're excited to show up every day. They know that I have their best interests in heart, and we enjoy each other. And so that does add some comfort to the job and to our relationship as a team.
Forget, I know it's kind of a sin. You drop the Kujo from right now. What is the identity of the Tyler High Lions?
The identity. I want the identity to be a team that can execute on both sides of the ball, that are physical, that are well coached, and talented. I want all of those things when they talk about Tyler High. I want those guys to be able to say that. I don't want them to say, oh, they're well coached, and that's it. I don't want them to say, oh, these guys just got a lot of talent. I want them to say that they're a well-rounded team, that they're respectful to their opponent after the game, they're respectful to the fans and to everybody around them, and I want them to be, I want people to say that they're a shining light of Tyler ISD, right? And so those things are important, and those are things that we talk about every week.
I know the team, obviously they have that rivalry with Tyler Legacy and stuff like that. Is there a game on that schedule that you personally, as a coach, want to see this team rise up to on the occasion that year?
I want them to rise up to every game. We take it 1 week at a time. I know that there's added interest from the fan base, depending on who you play. But the reality of it is we go out to try to win every game, and we prepare that way, and nothing's going to change on that front.
What gets you fired up, for a game? What is
it? I'm a competitor. I love to compete. The preparation that it takes to be ready to go is something that I enjoy. I enjoy the grind. I enjoy the grind more than I enjoy the game. Honestly, I like to come to work every day knowing that if I don't do what needs to be done, our team's not going to be ready to play, and that gets me up every morning.
Coach, if there's one thing you want out of your team this year, what would that be?
To be better, to win, right? I mean, it's for us. We're going to do everything necessary to help these guys to be better men and be young men, but it's time to win. It's time to win and make a run and, restore the war, so to speak. The rebuild process and everything that goes into that, we're where we need to be. And so it's time to win and take that next step. But with that being said, we have some key guys that have been with me for 3 years that'll be seniors. And so from that standpoint, we have some senior leadership in our key positions that I think is going to put us over the top.